Hey y'all, this is Chrissy-O from Chrissy-O's Clucky Chronicles YouTube channel and ChrissyOShow.com. And today, as promised, we're going to be talking and doing a little deep dive into my sweet babies, the Indian runner ducks. Which, if you've been watching this show on YouTube, then you know that I have two. I have Monique, who is a beautiful chocolate, like a deep brown chocolate color, and I have my tan and white baby, who is Sherry D. If you hear any noises in the background, my baby boxer Vader, which I just did a whole entire vlog about on the YouTube channel, he's laying behind me in the chair and he is snoring, so it is not me making weird noises. Now that we've got that completely, totally out of the way, let's do it, all right? Hey, all y'all Clucky Chronicles crew. It's me, your hostess with the mostest feathers, Chrissy-O. And I'm back with another feathered adventure, okay? Here we go. And today, as I stated, we're going to be waddling and running into wild and wonderful worlds of Indian runner ducks. These are beautiful, quirky quackers. They're like stand-up comedians of the duck world. Literally, that's how I feel about them. And I'm just going to tell you a few of the pros, a few of the cons, and where these bowling pin-shaped buddies come from, okay? So just grab you a snacky, maybe some ducky-friendly garden peas, and let's just dive right into this pond, all right? Let's talk about the Indian runner duck, okay? And I'm going to show you guys my girls because I love them. Absolutely love them, okay? So let's talk about Sherry D and Monique a little bit. The Indian runner duck, it's a duck that looks like it's late for a Zoom meeting. Literally. It looks like it's late for everything. It sprints across the yard. Its head straight up. Its little legs is just churning and turning like a cartoon character. That's the Indian runner duck, okay? Now, my babies don't really waddle like your average ducky duck. They just run. They run everywhere. But I have to say that Sherry D and Monique kind of do it with style, right? So they're tall, they're slender, they're upright. They're just like beautiful feathered wine bottles to me. Beautiful. Or bowling pins. Or penguins who forgot their tuxedos, whatever, okay? So just let me tell you, they've got a personality that lasts for days. But before I get into it, why you might want these little speedsters in your backyard, let's just take a quick little trip down history lane. Let's find out where they came from. Just a little bit, okay? Where did Indian runner ducks come from? Let's just hop into my little time machine. We're going to zip back over 2,000 years to the Indonesian islands of Java, Bali, and Lombok, okay? Now, these ducks pretty much are practically ancient royalty. So, ancient Javan temple carvings actually show ducks that are kind of suspiciously look like our upright buddies, meaning Indian runners. So we know they've been strutting their stuff for centuries. Now, way back then, farmers in Southeast Asia, they used them like living pest control machines, herding flocks to their rice paddies. They munched on bugs, snails, and weeds. It's like a little duck army marching behind a farmer with a bamboo pole, cleaning up the fields like feather Roombas. Think of it that way. Now, they still do that today in a lot of farms and places over there. We're going to fast forward to the 1800s, and these ducks, they caught the eye of the European traders, probably because they just looked a little weird to them, you know. I don't know if bowling was a thing back then, but whatever. Just go with me on this. So then they said a ship's captain kind of brought some over to the UK around 1830, and folks started calling them penguin ducks because of their upright vibe. Now, the name Indian runner kind of stuck, even though they're not from India. Blame the East India's company sailing ships for that mix-up, but whatever. Then, by the late 19th century, they were a hit in Europe and America. especially for their egg-laying superpowers. Now, when I tell you that my Monique and my Sherry D can pop out some eggs, honey, they pop them out. And there's some big eggs, too, for them little skinny little ducks. Fun fact here, know about Indian runner ducks. They almost went extinct in Europe because people kept crossbreeding them. But thanks to the duck enthusiasts like the Indian Runner Duck Club that was formed in 1906, the purebred quackers are still with us today. So kudos to you guys, and kudos to all of you breeders out there who still have Indian Runner ducks, just like I have. So wonderful. I'm glad you guys still have them. Here's some pros of owning Indian Runner ducks. So I'm going to kind of get to the good stuff, hopefully. So now, why you might want a flock of feathered sprinters, i.e. Indian Runner ducks. These are the pros of owning them. And just trust me, they're excellent. Sorry for the pun. Anyway, they're great egg-laying machines. That's number one. These ducks are super overachievers of the poultry world. A good Indian runner hen can pop out around 200 to 350 jumbo eggs a year. Sometimes a little bit more than a chicken. The eggs are big, often white or pastel green, and let me tell y'all right now, as a southern cook and a southern mama, they are perfect for baking, frying, deviled eggs. It's just wonderful. It's going to make your taste buds quack with joy. So if you're dreaming of that egg empire, these ducks, Indian runners, honey, is your golden quacky ticket. Now, number two, pest control pros. Indian runners are like the freaking Avengers of your garden. They're going to dart around, run around. They're going to gobble up slugs, snails, grubs, and insects without tearing up your plants like my chickens do. Got a snail problem? Send in your Indian runner squad. They're so good at foraging, y'all. They've been used on organic farms and vineyards to keep pests in check for hundreds of years, okay? Plus, they're hilarious to watch while they're doing it. They are so cute. Imagine bowling pins in your garden, eating the pests you don't want. Who couldn't ask for more? I mean, really. Number three, they're low-maintenance legends. So, unlike some of the diva ducks that you have, like me, my Jane Lily, my crested duck, I mean, she's kind of diva, all right? So, unlike that, Indian runners, they don't need fancy ponds to be happy. Just give them a freaking kiddie pool or a little tub for splashing. It's kind of plenty. You know, they're not very diva-ish. They just need enough water to make good drinking water, dunk their heads in, clean their beaks. They're very hardy. They're great at handling heat and cold. And they're not really prone to major health issues, though you still want to keep your eye out for worms. And you want to make sure that you treat them accordingly. Now, number four is their complete endless entertainment. So these ducks are straight up clowns, all right? They're upright, bowling pin stance, and their little speedy sprints is going to have you laughing like you're watching a duck version of America's Got Talent. That's how I feel about it. They're very social. They like hanging out in flocks. They can even be trained to be less skittish with a little bit extra TLC. So if you raise them from ducklings and handle them daily, y'all, they'll follow you around like feathered puppies. And I love that. Number five is they're very colorful. They're colorful characters. They got beautiful colors. They come in more colors to me than a box of crayons, okay? You've got fawn, white, black, chocolate, Cumberland blue, fancy patterns like apricot trout. To me, they're just like living ducky art for your backyard. And their variety makes them a favorite for duck shows. Who needs, Netflix when you got a flock of these little fashionistas running around? So let me tell you a little bit of cons about owning Indian runner ducks. Nobody really wants to hear the cons. Everybody wants to hear the pros, but I got to give it to you anyway. No pet is perfect. Not even my adorable little weirdo girls, Sherry D and Monique. Okay? So here's some cons to consider before you kind of sign up for the Indian Runner Duck fan club. Number one, they're nervous Nellies. So Indian runners, they're jumpy. They're jumpy. I don't care how much you tame them. And I hand raced mine. They're jumpy. They're timid. They can go in full-on panic mode if they're startled. They can be a little bit trickier to handle than the calmer breeds of ducks. And they might not be the cuddliest duck that you want unless you work really, really, really hard to socialize them. You know, if you corner them, I'm telling you, they're going to scramble over a fence like tiny escape artists. They're going to hiss at you, and they're going to claw you. That's just how it is. You just got to be extra careful with them. Number 2, they are noisy. Woo! My girls, they can literally like quack, quack, wake you up at the butt crack of dawn. If you got any kind of grumpy neighbors that live next door, or you're in a tight-knit suburb, you know what I'm telling you, they're quacking. It just might ruffle their feathers. Drakes are a little bit quieter, but ladies love to gossip, you know, especially if they're excited or they're in their little social group and they're doing their little thing. So my ladies, loud. They're louder than my other girls. So just telling you. Now, number 3 is a little bit of a disappointment, but it is what it is. They're not great moms. So if you're hoping you're going to catch you a bunch of cute little ducklings, Indian runners might let you down. This is not for every Indian runner duck. Some make good moms. Mine don't. Just letting you know. Mine are not broody. They're not broody at all. They don't often sit on eggs, and even if they do, they're not winning any Mom of the Year awards for ducks. Just letting you know. With mine, if I were to breed mine, I would more than likely need an incubator and a brooder to raise the babies myself, because Sherry D and Monique are not the ducky mommy type. So just understand that. Now, number 4 is they are fragile speedsters because they are so active. They are very lightweight and only 3 to 5 pounds. They can be prone to injuries. They might run into a branch, get caught in a fence zooming around. They're clumsy. Their small size means they're not the best choice if you're raising ducks for meat, even though people say the meat is tasty. I don't know. I don't eat my babies, you know, and they're low fat for a small meal. They're fragile. They can have little leg problems. They can go lame, different things. So you want to be careful about that. And number 5 is one of the ones that the majority of my friends talk to me about, who are farmers, homesteaders, farmsteaders, or who just have Indian runners just as pets, is the fencing frustration. I'm going to tell you right now, my Sherry D and Monique are curious explorers, and they can scale low fences if they're feeling it. If they feel adventurous, there they go. So you're going to need a secure, predator-proof area with a fence of at least 4 feet high to keep them safe and contained. If you've got a big property and they might wander off and chase bugs and forget the way home, because, I don't know, sometimes I think Sherry D and Monique have some memory issues. There you go. Let's do some tips for runner duck rock stars. If you're already sold on these beautiful Indian runner ducks and these quirky quackers are great, here's a few little tips and tricks that I do that keep my babies happy. So you got to feed them right. You got to use the layer pellets with 15 to 20% protein and some niacin in it. Niacin's important for ducks. You got to toss in greens or garden peas for treats and make sure they got fresh water nearby. They are super messy. Ducks, I've said this, ducks are messy. They're messy drinkers. You also want to provide them with a cozy coop, just spacious, draft-free shelter with shavings or bedding, whatever you got that works for you or works for them. Keep it warm in the winter so that they keep producing some eggs for you. Now, they're social squads, so you'll see when you go to these box stores, they won't even let you get one duck. You have to get a minimum of 2, 3, or 4 because they are a social breed. Ducks need that. So get at least 2 or 3. They're super social. You don't want them to get lonely and solo. And if you get a drake can help like keep the hens calm, but Don't overdo it with too many boys. You have to have the right amount of boys to girls ratio. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. Worm watch. Wormies happening in poultry. So you got to make sure you're doing your deworming thing, and new ducks need deworming, and consider natural preventatives like diatomaceous earth in their little area, and be sure that you talk to your vet or your duck doctor or your duck farmer for a deworming schedule. That's going to do it for Indian runners. So there you go, y'all. All you Clucky Chronicles fans, thank you so much for listening to the Chrissy O Show podcast show. These are the highs and lows of life with Indian runner ducks. If you're looking for a low-maintenance, egg-laying, pest-munching, laugh-inducing addition to your backyard, I'm telling you, Indian runners all the way. I love my little bowling pins. Monique and Sherry D, fabulous. If you want to read about their bios, they're at the website at ChrissyOShow.com. Just go to the Pecking Crew page, scroll down, you'll find them. I'm telling you, if you're looking for chill, cuddly pet, live in a quiet neighborhood, you probably want to go with a different breed of duck, because these babies are loud and chatty, and they're fast. I'm just totally obsessed with mine. I love my feathered sprinters, but I also want to hear from y'all too. Have you got Indian runners in your flock? If you do, just drop me a message. Let me know. You can send me a message on ChrissyOShow.com. Go to the contact page. You can follow me and send me a message on the YouTube channel, Chrissy O's Clucky Chronicles. Just let me know how your DuckTales goes. And if you're new to here, just hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next deep dive into the world of feathered friends, poultry, and all that good stuff, because we do these podcast shows that are pretty cool. Until the next time, keep it clucking, keep your ducks running. This is Chrissy O. I'm going to quack you later, and always remember, be good. If you can't be good at it, y'all.